Hi there. Thank you for joining with me this morning. There's an old story told about a fisherman who was very successful here. Every day he would take his boat out in the lake, and within a few hours he returned, and it was always loaded with fish. One day a stranger asked if he could go out with him. It was agreed, and so the following morning the two of them went out together and made their way to a small bay, and the stranger wondered why the man had no reel and no rod. All the stranger saw was a net and a rusty tackle box. But slowly the man pulled the box open and took out a stick of dynamite. Taking a match, he lit the fuse, he held it for a second and then threw it into the water. There was a terrific blast, and soon he was scooping up fish in his net and filling up the boat. Now at that point the stranger pulled out his badge. It was the badge of the water bailiff, and he said, "Sir, you're under arrest." This didn't seem to bother the fisherman one bit. He pulled out another stick of dynamite, he lit it, and he handed it to the bailiff. And he said, "Now, are you just going to sit there, or are you going to fish?" Jesus asked his friends a similar question. He asked them to leave their nets, to stop fishing for fish and start fishing for souls. And maybe he's saying the same to the 21st century church. Are you going to sit there, or are you going to fish? Words are cheap. Action counts. There was a Peanuts cartoon in which Schroeder was interrupted by his infatuated admirer. He was playing the piano. And Lucy said, "Schroeder, do you know what love is?" And Schroeder stopped playing his piano and he stood to his feet and said, "Love, noun, to be fond of, a strong affection to, devotion to persons or persons." And he sat back down and resumed playing his piano. And Lucy sat there and murmured sarcastically, "On paper is great." Well, if Jesus called us to fish, he also called us to love and serve one another. And we might well say, like Lucy, yes, on paper we're great, but that's about it. Love doesn't just sit there, it fishes. There was a family enjoying their day out at the seaside one day, and the children were swimming, making sand castles, and an old lady appeared. Her clothes were kind of dirty. She was muttering something to herself as she picked up things from the beach and put them into a bag. And the parents told the children to stay away from this old lady. As she passed by, bending down every now and again to pick things up, she smiled at them, but her greeting was not returned. Weeks later, that old lady had made it her mission to pick up pieces of glass from the beach so that children wouldn't cut their feet. A thankless task, wouldn't you say? But you know, there's a lot of people today in thankless jobs. Is that not so? And maybe right now that's how you feel. You're being used by your family, your workplace, and even the church. I often think our community would grind to a halt if it didn't have those wonderful, selfless people who just get on with the thankless tasks. And you may be one of them. If you are, thank God for you. One of those who just don't sit there, but who fish. Again, thank you for listening to me, and God bless you.